We're getting to the end of our pink Christmas journal, and we're this close to filling up one more journal off my project list. Hi, this is Kelly with Kelly's Creative Dream Studios. And yesterday we drew the signature ties dangle, and we're going to talk about that here in just a minute. But I have something to show you first. This is from my Porch prints. It's all kinds of Christmas words. I would prefer if these had been a little bit brighter pink, less vintage, but vintage is kind of my Porch prints design style, so I was okay with that. What I did was I printed off a couple of copies, so I'd always have some handy. And then I cut one of the sheets apart, and I added them to our tags from yesterday. So I thought those. Now, one of the things I didn't point out yesterday was this decorative edge on here kind of gives you the effect of having something on there like lace, but it won't snag up into your pocket. So you get a decorative edge without the issue of hooking up into things when you go to slide it in a pocket. I added Jingle Bells, Comfort and Joy, and Merry Christmas. Now, while they were supposed to be twinsies, in which they are in the design, I did not want to use the same word on all three of the tags. So, there will be a different word in each of the signatures. The other thing I wanted to point out is when we did this half hitch on the top of these tags, what I am going to go back and do is I'm going to go back and put a little collage medium on there or my Tombow glue, and that will help keep that from coming undone. Now, let's get to today's project, which is our signature ties. Now, while I'm going to try and use as many of the whites and the blues as I can, and while I really didn't want blue in this journal, this is what I have to work with. And I'm going to show you where we started with this. Initially, I was going to use these ornaments from off of the paper, and I was going to have to fussy cut those out, and I was okay with that. But here was my challenge. Let's get into one of these really quick. My signature ties are really small, and that ornament is just going to dwarf that, and I wasn't sure I wanted to go that route because that'd be quite a heavy thing on there. So instead of doing the ornaments, I thought I would use these from Jolie's Boutique. They've been in my stash forever, and so that's what I thought I'd use. But notice, where's my ruler here, handy? The signature ties, I've cut them down to where they're less than 2 inches long. So they're not going to handle something big. And let's look at the second signature. They all come out to be about the same. Now these could probably handle the ornaments. And then there's this one, again, with relatively longer ties. So, like I said, I really don't want to use the blue, but there's two signature ties in each one. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn them into one dangle on each one. That'll give me, allow me to use the white and not the blue. And then I can save the blue for something else. So I'm going to take and pull these out very carefully, because they're old enough that they're already starting to come apart. So I'm going to take that, and I have tweezers here somewhere. Here we go. And I'm going to put my cheaters on so I can see, and I'm going to try and keep my fat little head out of your way. I don't know, maybe I can see better without. But I want to use white ones. Even though they've got a blue dot in the center, the tweezers just aren't working. I could pull these off and I could change the color of the stone. Now, so I'm not sticking to my paper. I am going to go ahead and lay this underneath. Just like this, so I can bring these two together, lay them down on my sticky mat, and then I can lay this right on here, just like that. And then I'm going to turn it over. And because that's not super sticky back there, I am going to add a little bit of glue to the backs of those. And let's trying to get those in there so they'll stay. You know what? I think maybe this would be a good place for a little sticky dot. Here we go. Let's do a little sticky dot on here. And I have my little pin for getting a hold of the dots. I don't need all kinds of sheets. Like that. This. Let's do the sticky dot on the back of here, because the sticky dot that's on the back of that isn't real stable. So then I'm going to take and pull this out. Then I can pull these back up. Then we'll let those stay in place. Now I can come back with a little bit of glue, because you know I don't trust my double stick adhesive for permanence. And then I'm going to pull up another one of those snowflakes. And this is where it gets tricky, especially with my trimmers, is trying to line up the snowflakes. But with the glue I have a little bit of workaround. And that won't be so bad. And then I can come back and I can take this off, because I really don't like the blue on there. Whoops. Now that, if I didn't want it to hold, would be coming off every time I turned around. But I'm going to put that back on there. Just like that. I'm going to put a little bit of glue right there. And then I'm going to go over here to my bling sheet. I get a hold of it. Over here to my bling sheet and see if I have any tiny pink ones. I do. Right there. And we're going to take and use our tweezers to lay him in there if I can. These things are hard enough to deal with when you don't have, when your fingers don't jiggle everywhere. And of course I've already put glue on my fingers. There we go. Now if I can get my finger to turn loose and leave the bobble behind, there we go. I'm going to call that one good. So I'll go through and I'll do all the rest of these, but I'm going to leave this lay here and dry for just a little bit. And then I will go through and put the rest of them aside. Now I also finished, I have all 3 of these done to put on page edges. I also need to go through and put these in the pages where they belong. Remember, these are our belly bands that hold our Santa and Nutcracker note tall tags with a job. So I'm going to go ahead and finish those up today. And I think instead of a Christmas card tomorrow, I'm going to come back and we'll show you how all of this is coming together. So in the meantime, tell me down in the comments, are you working on Christmas yet? Anything. Christmas presents, Christmas cards, a Christmas journal. I'd love to hear. Thanks for joining me in the studio today. Remember to like, to share, subscribe, and creative Christmas blessings.